My God, can you believe that it is Sunday already?
Already, Jenny Brothers.
I know, it's
Already.
crazy. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit so I don't have to yell over the amazing music.
Hi, Max Caselli.
I know, the amazing Max Caselli. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's hot today.
It is hot, but it's not humid.
No, it's just hot. It's like summer hot, but it's not
Mhm.
summer yet. It's, May.
Late spring. It's still late spring. Yeah. I was out in my garden for most of the afternoon. Oof. I had to take a shower. I smelled very badly. Even my chickens were like, "Ooh, you're gross."
I'm like, we're not gonna get near you. Yeah,
Hmm.
I know it happens. Yeah, I went out and worked for a while. I mow my neighbor's lawn. So today I mowed their lawn and picked up garbage. A lot of garbage in the yard today because it's Sunday and everybody goes and hangs out. We have like an area like on the side of our house where people park and dump their garbage. So, Sunday's garbage day in North Side.
Oh, yay. Time to
Tell me
pick up
some.
other people's trash.
It's true. It's true. You know what though? I'm getting really good at it. I've got a system down. It works for me. You know, I know where the trash is going to be and I know it's usually going to be liquor bottles. So, but just little tiny ones.
Exactly. Well, you can't, you got to drink responsibly.
It's true. It's true. You gotta drink what you can afford. So, and sometimes,
Exactly.
sometimes what you can afford is a tiny airplane liquor bottle. So there you go.
There you go. There you go. Something
No
to just
judgment. I get it.
take the
I
edge
get
off.
it. Totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here we are, you guys, on a Sunday. You are listening to the Brothers Sisters Smart Time Fun with the Brothers Sisters. I'm Jenny Brothers,
I'm Ann Brothers.
and we are here to entertain you and educate you. And we got to thinking. We got
Hmm.
to thinking that it would be a perfect time to talk about Gwen Frostic because, as you know, and next weekend
Hmm.
is Memorial Day weekend. So
Hmm.
that means a lot of folks are going to be traveling north. And if you're going to be going to the, northern parts of Michigan, then you should stop by Gwen Frostic. And then you're like, who's Gwen Frostic? Because some people don't know who she is. So we are going to educate you until you go up there, buy some prints, some stationery, some pictures for your home, some poetry. Yes. So that's who we're talking about today. So
We
there you go.
we were supposed to be talking about our Amy Tan, her new book, and the got we're going to go see her live, but she got COVID.
She did. She got COVID. Apparently she's okay. They've rescheduled it. But
Hmm.
yeah, we were supposed to go up for her book talk in Traverse City on
Hmm.
Tuesday. That was supposed to be Tuesday evening for her new book, The Backyard Bird Chronicles. But unfortunately, she got the Rona and
Hmm.
she went back to California to recover. So hopefully she's doing well. Amy Tan, we wish you the best of health. We hope you're doing okay.
Hmm.
And that actually worked out because then I was able to provide some care for my mother who has had knee replacement surgery on Monday. So there you go.
There you go.
And it was
So
a good
fun.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes, the funnest. So, yeah,
That's
there you
fun.
go.
There you go. Yeah. So look for that brothers sisters event that we'll be talking about Amy Tan and her new book in June. We'll be doing that in June.
Yes, Father's Day weekend because, Father's Day, I believe, is on the 16th?
Hmm.
Is it? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's on the 16th, and then, we've been rescheduled for Friday the 14th for the
Mhm.
presentation, and, there you go, and come hell or high water, I'm gonna get her as a guest on this show. You'll see, you just wait and see. I did something interesting this week. You ready?
I'm ready.
I watched videos on how to use Instagram.
Jenny Brothers, look at you.
I
I
know.
keep threatening myself to do that. I was like, you can get on YouTube and watch videos on how to use Instagram because,
Well, and
Gen
it's so
Xers
funny
do that.
because the videos to teach you how to do Instagram are kind of confusing. So I'm like, I need a video to teach me how to use the video to teach me how to use Instagram. It is the rabbit hole of social media, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna get savvier at this, and then you and I are gonna write a book on how to be Gen Xers using social media to promote your brand. Like, frick.
uh,
So
hurts.
yeah,
It's given me cramps.
it
Diarrhea
does. It's
cramps.
it's diarrhea cramps hard with
Mhm.
no diarrhea. So
Uh-huh.
there
Hmm.
you go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about the fun stuff that we have to talk about today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our boop on that. I'm going to dump our brand in the background. Let's talk about Gwen Frostic,
Okay,
artist,
that sounds great.
poet, naturalist, role model, entrepreneur, and super genius. But before we do that, um, You wanna take us through this, Ann? Or do you want me to do it today? You're gonna be
Uh,
doing most of the talking today, so let me do this.
I'd be happy to.
Is that cool?
Mhm.
Okay. So here's our synopsis. This is for our returning listeners. This is for our new listeners. And this is just a breakdown of who we are and what we're up to. We are the Brother Sisters. I'm Janice. This is Anne. Our last name is Genuinely Brothers. We didn't have to change it just because we have a podcast. We actually have a podcast because we have this clever last name.
Exactly.
We are in our 50s, which means that we are Gen X all the way. And we grew up thinking that diet soda was health food. I'm like, no, no, I don't want any Kool-Aid. I'll have Tab.
As soon as I thought this, I was like, "Oh, you know what the diet soda was? It was Tab."
Tab. Uh,
I don't even think they make that anymore, that bright pink label.
you know, I think they actually do make, I've seen it somewhere. Maybe it was like a nostalgia bottle stashed away somewhere,
Mhm.
but I swear to the saints, I saw a can of Tab or a bottle of Tab, but that was not ours. We could not have that. Tab was mom's.
Yeah, that
So
was exactly. It was for
yeah,
grown-ups who were eating healthy to lose weight. Of course,
yes.
eating healthy wasn't a thing when we were growing up.
Mm-mm.
You were either trying to get thinner or, not trying to get thinner.
Yeah. Yeah, there was not, the whole wellness movement was not a thing. It was
No,
just you're fat or you're skinny, and if you're skinny, you were healthy. That's it.
that's it. That's
Even if
it.
you were even if you were two-handed smoking, you were
Exactly.
skinny, you were healthy.
You were healthy. That's exactly it. Drinking your rat poison diet soda and cigarette and cool menthol lights.
Oh, so cool. So
Hmm.
mentally.
Yeah.
So light. Yes.
Hmm.
Let's see. What else about us? We talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, and fun stuff, or any combination of the three at any time. We are not cool, hip, or sexy. Instead, we're just awesome.
Hmm.
Very much so, because you get to a certain age where there's just like you can just stop pretending to be cool, hip, or sexy. I'm going to go ahead and refer to the show Hacks yet again. We have to do a show on hacks.
Oh
That's
gosh,
coming up.
yeah.
That will be one of our June things when the
Hmm.
season finishes, because I have so many things to say
Uh-huh.
about this season of Hacks, and especially the last 2 episodes, which are excellent.
Hmm.
Such good TV. Okay. Anyway, we are not a celebrity influencer or true crime podcast. We are bigger, better, and bolder.
Hmm.
We dare you to pigeonhole us into one of those things. You can't.
You can't.
Which is difficult when you're trying to get somebody to Google you. But at the same time, I think it's a good thing because, you know, you never know what you're gonna get. We're like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah, it makes
Uh,
yeah. All right. So we are great to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff, especially in Michigan. My husband has said that this is essentially a love letter to Michigan, and it is. And as we get a little more savvy and kind of figure things out, we'll expand that footprint as as we travel and figure some things out and do more. But that's kind of where we are right now. Is what we do. We talk about the things that we know and love most, and it just so happens that most of those things happen to be in the state of Michigan, the great state of Michigan, the
the great
Great
state.
Lake state of Michigan.
Hmm. Exactly.
Just forewarning you, this podcast is not PG-13. It we go a little bit of brother sisters after dark. You've been warned. We swear, we're not sorry. There might be some uncomfortable things where we're talking about, um, stuff that maybe you don't necessarily talk about in front of your kids, but you definitely talk about after you've had 2 or 3 glasses of wine at your book club. Okay. You can join us at our website, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. Please like us, follow us, hit the little bell, and leave us a review. We're trying to get those 5-star reviews. Leave us a 5-star review. Give us your feedback on our Q&A. We do polls. We have an important poll question for you as we build into next week's show, but we'll get to that. You can
Hmm.
have Alexa play us because she knows who we are because we're that
She's
cool.
and she's so smart.
She is smart. We love her. Again, you guys, this is the big thing we're really going to be pushing. We have the Summer Slam coming in the month of June. We're going to ask our followers on Facebook to expand our footprint by following us on our other platforms. And we're going to ask you, how people they're like, hey, people need help. And then they have like a GoFundMe. Well, we're going to have a not GoFundMe, it's a go like me, go follow me, go subscribe to me, go leave a review me. And we're going to ask you, our friends and family, to do that as well, because we really are trying to do this we're trying to do this in an organic and homegrown sort of way. There's a word for it. I'm not thinking of it. Grassroots. We are trying to grow as a grassroots podcast, because we don't have a lot of extra money to drop on promotion and stuff. So we're going to try and build and build and build through the awesomeness of our listeners. So if you could put
Yes.
the word out, sharing is caring. Share our podcasts and live shows on your social media, please. And thank you. All right, let's talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff that happened this week, and we shall start with you.
My thing was dumb. Oh, so dumb, but oh, so amazing. So my sister and I have these. We have this. I have a bucket. She has a box where we wrap up little gifts. And when we're having when we're a little sad or we need a little pick me up or something, we'll break into our box and we'll open our gift. This was my gift this week. The Axolotl Joyride. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's one of those like toys where if you like, oh, there we go, and then it drives. It's not driving right now, but anyway, that's what I got. And then of course, I also have I thought I have all this fun like stupid shit. I'm like, let's put other fun stupid shit on and go for a joyride. So I got my Barbie doll keychain out, and Barbie is having a joyride with the axolotl. So yeah, so that was my fun, so dumb, so amusing. That's what I did this
Incredibly
week.
dumb, incredibly fun. We have Jean and Ruth with us. Jean, hey girl, hey girl, hey! It is great to see
Hey,
you. Thank you so much for staying with us and commenting. We appreciate you, Jean. You are awesome as well. In fact, you might be awesomer,
I
if that
think
is a
so.
word. It is today.
It is
Yeah.
now.
What's fun about the axolotl is right now the axolotl, for whatever reason, is having a moment. And an axolotl is an amphibian. Yes, it's an amphibian. And what's unique about the axolotl, it has this incredible ability to clone its body parts. So if you cut off the arm of an axolotl, it grows back a brand new arm that is fully functional in every way, shape, and form, which is incredibly. This is the thing that human doctors are trying to figure out how to do, and this thing does it naturally. My worry about the axolotl is that we're going to love it to death. We are literally
Mhm.
going to love axolotls to death, and then they're already endangered. And so we're going to basically take this really cool, incredible species and wreck it, because that's exactly what we do. Because we end
Mhm.
up making axolotl joyride, which is an axolotl driving an axolotl car. You know,
Meta.
dumb, so meta.
So meta.
Oh my god, that's so meta.
Well, so my advice is that instead of like actually buying a live one and putting it in an aquarium, just collect all the awesome toys. So,
There are many
mhm.
options, 'cause and not only do you have the axolotl joyride, but you also have an axolotl pop gun.
I do. I have a pop gun. I have a little finger puppet. Yeah. Whenever I see them, I'm like, oh my god, look at this! This is so funny. So, yeah. So, yeah, buy the toys, not the actual little guys,
Yeah.
because they don't want
Yeah,
to live in
just
your aquarium.
they don't. Just leave them alone, let them do their thing in nature, and you will
Mhm.
try not to drive them to extinction like we have so many other species in the last 30 to 40 years, so, yeah. We are humans are currently driving the current mass extinction.
Yeah.
Good job, humans. Uh
Yeah. We're great at.
I don't know what mine is. Mine is smart, dumb, and fun. You don't know. I believe mine is smart, and it is the bear cake from Victorian Bakery. I don't have a picture of it. All I can tell you is that it is in season one of the show The Bear, which is on Hulu. Marcus is the pastry guy, the bread guy, the pastry guy at this little mom and pop restaurant, and he decides he wants to start doing desserts, and so he experiments with making this chocolate cake. And I got to tell you, they recreated it at Victorian Bakery, and it's the best cake I have ever eaten. And I've eaten Boone's ear cake. I've eaten all the cakes. This is the best cake I've ever eaten. It is it's a three-layer cake. So the first layer is chocolate cake. Second layer is this really thick layer of chocolate mousse. Then another layer of cake, more chocolate mousse, more cake, and then covered with this delicious, incredibly thick chocolate ganache. It is the chocolatiest thing I have ever eaten,
Yeah.
and that cake is now my god.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was an amazing
Yeah,
cake. I'm not gonna
I,
say
I'm
it was as good as Boone's ears, but dang, it was a good cake.
I don't know. I don't know if I can make that statement or not. I needed to have Boone's ear cake and the bear cake side by side to make
Mhm.
that sort of judgment. All I can say is that it was a 10-pound cake. I walked out of there having to carry that cake with two hands because I'm like, this cake is like the size of a newborn baby, but
Mhm.
heavier.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
that thing weighed a ton. It
And
was real
so
good.
good. Yeah. And all I know is that if you live in the Kalamazoo area, anywhere within like an hour's drive, you should be coming to Victorian Bakery for many reasons. A, because Maria, the owner of the Victorian Bakery, is makes incredible baked goods, and Kalamazoo has a great bake scene. I can't
Tons.
bakery scene. It's amazing how many good bakeries are
Uh-huh.
in this metropolitan area. I mean, there's Victorian, there's Sarkozy, there's Burt's, there's I'm not thinking of one. Well, Boone's Ears, of course, that just closed.
Oh,
There's
so sad.
I can't think of the other ones, but those are the ones that come right off the top of my head. And the other thing I really like about Victorian Bakery is that they really work hard within the community. They've made some great partnerships with other bakeries. They promote other bakeries. They promote other bakers. They have guest bakers that come in. They promote those guest bakers. And I would say that, the employees just has this awesome mishmash of diversity and interesting characters that work in Victorian. And it's one of my favorite places. And this is my favorite thing I've ever had there. And I've loved so many things there. So,
Mhm. Yeah,
bear cake
I haven't had anything there that I wouldn't eat like 5 more times in a row.
over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. You're right. That's
Mhm.
it. This all I know is it's the answer to everything. So huzzah.
That's that. Exactly.
Hmm, hmm. I'm like, I don't know the atomic number of some things, but I know it should be bear cake. So there you
It
go.
should be Victorian Bakery.
Victorian Bakery and bear cake.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm all excited and triggered because bear cake.
Now you have to wait till it
Boy,
comes back because it's not an everyday thing.
it's not. And I don't know if it's going to become a regular thing, but it should be.
It
But
should.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. And should we talk about Gwen Frostic?
Let's talk about Gwen Frostic, Jenny.
Okay. Why don't you start us off?
Okay, so who is Gwen Frostic? All right, well, Gwen Frostic is a Michigan artist. She was a Michigan artist. She was born on April 26th in 1906 in Sandusky, Michigan, which is kind of near Lake Huron. So I'm sure you thought maybe there was only one Sandusky, and that was Ohio, where there was a Cedar Point. But no, there's a
Cedar Point.
Sandusky, Michigan. She died April 25th in 2001 in Benzonia, Michigan. So on the other side of the state. Suffered from high fevers as a child from an unknown illness, which left her with limp and weak hands. Which is interesting because she was an artist who used her hands all the time. Um,
For real.
some people think that maybe she had polio, but it was never diagnosed. They just knew that she was very sick, very very sick, and it left her with a disability. So this happened when she was probably 5 or 6 years old. She graduated from Wyandotte High School, which is over downriver here on the southeast side of the state. Then she graduated from Eastern Michigan University with a teaching certificate, where both Jenny and I graduated with our teaching certificates and several other things.
Go
um,
green. Go white. Go Huron/Eagles.
yeah. And then she studied art at Western Michigan University. In 1929, she was a camp counselor at OSHA of the Dunes in Frankfort, Michigan, and this is going to be an important thing for her when she gets older. So this first 4 year into this the Dunes area around Lake Michigan and northern Michigan is going to come back and be a very important part of her life. She started as a metal artist and taught school. She was commissioned to make 2 metal vases for Mrs. Henry Ford. Because of World War II, she switched from metal to linocut block prints made from linoleum because metal was in such short supply during World War II. Again, going back to the fact that, here she is with these weak hands, and she's working with metal. That's impressive. During World
Yeah.
War II, she worked 6 days a week as a tool and die draftsperson at Willow Run Bomber Plant. So that is was in Ypsilanti. So yeah, so that's the early history of her. She never married. became a teacher because that's what unmarried women did. They became teachers, and was a good artist. She was obviously a good artist because rich people were commissioning her to make stuff for them. So she was an accomplished artist. Did her part during World War II.
She was a Rosie the Riveter type.
She was.
Love
She
that.
was. Um, who again? We'll continue with some more work about more talk about Gwen Frostic. After World War II, she started Press Craft Paper in Wyandotte, Michigan. And in the 1950s, she opened a summer shop in Frankfort, Michigan. And then in the 1960s, she bought 40 acres in Benzonia, Michigan, which is not too far from Frankfurt, right near the lake there at Lake Michigan. She designed a studio, home print shop, and store, which opened in 1964, complete with a green sod roof, decades ahead of her time, and an indoor
Totally.
natural spring. And it became a 285-acre wildlife sanctuary. Her artwork depicts the natural world surrounding her shop. And of course, she loved dogs. So,
Well, and I think it's interesting too because anytime you go and look for a picture of Gwen Frostic on the internet, there's
mhm,
usually a dog in the picture with her.
yeah. Yeah, so I remember
So,
going to her shop and seeing her there, and seeing her dog following her. So that's one of the things I remember when we would go, because Jenny and I were introduced to Gwen Frostic, her art, never to her personally, but we were introduced to her art and her studio by her grandma Avis Brothers. And so every summer when we would go camping up north, we would stop at Gwen Frostic's and pick up usually stationery and sometimes books, sometimes prints, but almost always stationery. And it was nice because it was not very expensive. So it was something that, Jenny and I could either pay for ourselves, or it was like, something would our grandma or our parents would buy for us, and they would wrap it. They would wrap it in gift paper that she had designed, that came off her own print or her own printing presses. So it was a really awesome place. And I think, Jenny, I remember you saying once, Gwen Frostic being there always reminds you of rainy days, because we would always go there on a rainy day when we couldn't go to the beach. So if you're on
yeah.
vacation camping and you couldn't go to the beach, then you ended up at Gwen Frostic. So like you, it always reminds me of rainy days too.
Totally. And,
Mhm.
and it always rained. There would always be, you would go up north for a week and
Mhm.
there would be at least one day a week where it would rain. So you could always
Mhm.
count on, like, and I was actually really looked forward to the rainy day because that would be the day that we could go into Frankfurt, we could go into town, and we would go to, Gwen Frostic's.
Mhm.
And I was, really enjoyed that part of the vacation was the
Mhm.
rain day because there was
Mhm.
at least one.
At least one. Exactly. So that's how Jenny and I were introduced to her. And my grandma was a huge fan of hers. And I remember her telling us that it was important that we knew about her, and that she was known all over the world, and that she was from Michigan, and she was a woman who made art, and that it was important that we knew about her. So that's how I learned about her and how I learned to love her prints. Uh, why she was awesome. Unique paper craft. So she did prints, stationery, books. All of her books of poetry. They're so beautiful. Actually, Duncan, do you mind going upstairs and getting a couple of the Gwen Frostic books I have on the stairs?
Sure.
Thank you. They're beautiful books. She printed them herself and published them so that they were always available in her studio. So that, because she had so much control over them, they're just the most beautiful, thick paper, lots of color, just amazing. Um, all of these things were created from her original drawings that were then carved by hand into print blocks. And then those blocks would be used in the printing presses that she had purchased to make all the stationery and the prints and the books and everything. So not only did she draw everything, she carved everything, and then everything was printed with printing presses that were at her studio. Nothing had to leave her studio. Everything was in house. Her drawings depict the natural beauty found in Michigan, and she had stations set up all over her studio and home where she could just sit quietly and wait for the natural world to come to her and then draw what she saw. She built a multi-million dollar business before women could get a loan without a husband or father's co-signing. She built a multi-million dollar business before legal protection offered to people with disabilities, and that didn't happen until the 1990s. Women couldn't have their own loans until I think 1972. So she was doing all this when it was not when they didn't think women should be able to do this. She was a
Because of our
successful,
delicate constitutions.
yeah, our tiny little brains. She was a successful artist when successful artists were men, usually white and European. So we didn't look for art in our own backyard, and she brought art into our homes. Employed many people in her papercraft empire, gave millions of dollars to Western Michigan University, built a nature sanctuary and opened it up to everyone, showed that girl from Michigan could be an artist and make a living from it, and introduced people from around the world to the natural beauty of Michigan. Talk about everything that she ever wrote, all the poetry she wrote, every picture she ever drew is a love letter to Michigan. And she's in the National Registry of her studio is in the National Registry of Historic Places, and that happened in March 22nd of 2021, so just recently. So here's one of her books. My sister-in-law Liz found this for me. I'm like, look, see, there's the print, and then there's the poetry, and it's like everything is in color. So it's just so beautiful. Can you imagine being able to like buy a book like this in a bookstore? Just how gorgeous it is with all the beautiful prints. When I was looking up prints and stuff to put on this our presentation today, somebody had gotten a tattoo of one of her prints on their calf muscle, their calf of their leg. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I ever decide to pull the trigger on getting a tattoo, I'm so having a Gwen Frostic print tattooed on me.
Absolutely. Real quick, I was just gonna, interject one more thing. Actually, at Western, the School of Art is named after her. It's the
Oh
Gwen
yeah.
Frostic School of Art at
Mhm.
Western Michigan University. So that just goes to show you the impact that she had at Western. And I'm just gonna throw some prints out there. So this is an example of one of her prints. This is one of her iconic prints, and I would say at this point, most of the prints that she has are iconic.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I love about Gwen Frostic is she does this. You have this background, you have this beautiful pink hue in the background, you have this simple drawing of some vegetation, and then you have this bright blue, bird on it, and I would say a lot of her prints are like that. They have these real you have this really, excellent, you know, I don't know the word for it, but it's, um, splashes of color. This is another really great example of that, where you have this very matte sort of look, the brown owl, the brown tree, and then you have this gorgeous orange, yellow, pink sun behind it. And that's one of the things that I really love it. Um, ooh, we have Lori Worrell's with us. I'm taking you to get that tattoo, Anne. All right, Lori, that's what we're talking about. Lori, do you have a tattoo studio in mind? Because,
Exactly. I would prefer to go to one that's female owned and operated, but yeah.
I believe we have a yes. So these are like some examples of some of her work, and this is the logo. I know it's kind of hard to see on the background here, but the logo is the blue heron is I think one of the things that she's most known for is because that's what's out in front of her studio is this really awesome metal craft blue heron. So wait, more comments. Lori's like, sure, I can find it. uh, she has it. She's on a mission. So yeah, so those are just and I'll show a couple more as we go through the show today. But yeah, Gwen Frostic, she's the best. Yeah, and anytime you want to put your book up there and show more prints, I would totally be down with that too.
I'd be
So
happy to. Yeah, because I was very excited. Just before she passed away, I found a book with a bat on it. So this is like one of the last books that she published, and it's actually you can't really find this one anymore. So they don't print this one
interesting.
anymore. So I was very excited because I love bats. Bats are my favorite mammal. You might think it's a wombat, but a wombat's a marsupial. We'll talk about that later. So anyway, I was super excited when I saw that the bat was on there, and that was the first of her books that I bought. So yeah, there you go.
Awesome. So
Hmm.
yeah, so there's that other piece that she's the visual arts, the School of Art at Western is named after her,
Hmm.
as it should be. Mhm.
Yeah,
Go
she
ahead,
has
and keep going.
Oh no, she has art in the collection of the Detroit Institute of Art. She's an inductee to the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame. She's received awards from many art organizations and honorary doctorates from a number of universities. And she got a multi-page spread in Martha Stewart's magazine, Living.
Yeah, so anybody that gets that's a mic drop right there. And
Mhm.
she's on, when you're on Martha Stewart's radar,
Mhm.
mic drop. That's all I know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so
Mm.
just little Gwen, a little studio, backyard in Michigan.
Well, and the thing is, as a little girl going to Gwen Frostic's studio, of course, you have no idea that this woman is this famous, that she
Mhm.
is this renowned. You're just like, that's the little old lady that makes the art. Because, as a little girl, every now and then you might catch a glimpse of her,
Mhm.
in one of the little spaces that she was in, because, that was her home as well as her business. And so you would see her from time to time. But, and it's just like, you don't think of her as being this famous person because, you know, it's
Mhm.
it's Benzonia, Michigan. There's
Exactly.
not much up there.
Yeah,
So,
especially
yeah,
then, especially in the 70s and 80s. So.
yeah. So, what we're showing you in this picture right here, what for those of you that can't see it, this is some pictures of her studio. You can see the picture that we have, and again, you guys, if you can't see this, feel free. I'll go ahead and I'll throw this onto the Facebook page, and to the website as well, as if anybody's interested in looking more closely at this. You can see her house with these, the grass roof. Um, when you go into the studio, there's so many different rooms full of her art. You can't turn around without finding collections of cards or stationery or posters or prints, or whether they're larger stationery or smaller. And I think what one of the things I really love about having her art around me is that it makes me want to write letters and send notes because you know
Yeah, when I got married, I got all my stationery from there for my thank you notes for my showers and for wedding presents. And so we went up north and I, spent a bunch I was like, well, I need thank you cards. So I just decided to spend all my money there on thank you cards. So it was just a good way to support a local artist and to be unique. Not I didn't get any of, I didn't repeat anything. She has so many different prints that I was able to get one of everything basically.
awesome.
Hmm.
You can also see what we're looking at in that bottom picture. That's one of her linoleum plates.
Hmm.
So she would carve her artwork into the plates, and then they would use, these old school printing presses in order to print all the stationery and the paperwork that she put together. Amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I think in later on in the slide presentation, I think I have a couple of photos of the giant printing presses that she had. So she had a lot of it was all nature related. So there was a lot of animals, birds, insects, flowers. Anything like
Trees.
that, yeah. There, it was all nature related. And her poetry, which I really like, when I read poetry, I find that I prefer anything nature related, and that's all of her poetry is nature related. And you can see that there's this simplicity to her work, and you think, oh, this is so simple, but it conveys so much, and it makes it accessible, and it's very beautiful. It's calming and beautiful, and sometimes whimsical, and it's very
And you know
endearing.
what? I really think this is why I'm like, if you're heading up north, you should find her shop and go there. And the reason I
Mhm.
say that is because I feel like once you've spent time in that space, in her space, it really puts her art into some context that you might not necessarily get otherwise. I'm like, these are the things you know, that she saw every day, and she found ways to see something new, and you can see that in the number of prints that are available to look at. This is a lifetime collection. And so I think actually being in that space and understanding where she was looking and what she was looking at, and imagine those scenes changing from one season to the next and in between seasons, and how they just change from day to day, which is what happens in nature. The power of observation that she conveys in these drawings to me is it and being in that space helps put it in place in my head.
Well, I think that it's like her artist statement. Her where she her studio, it is her artist statement. It explains who she was as an artist.
Yeah, agreed. And I think, yeah. So if you happen to be heading north, man, you should go there. You
Hmm.
should go to there.
Hmm.
Take the time to do it. It's not that far out of the way. If you're, if you're one of those people that, basically sticks to M22 and never gets off it, get off of M22. It's not hard to find once if you're driving through Alberta, Frankfurt in that area, it's just off the little bit off the beaten path, but certainly not that far off the beaten path.
And you can certainly use your map apps to help you find it. It's
Yes.
not it's
The
not,
Google,
the Google will
yeah.
help you.
So
So
you can find her.
mhm.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so you can go personally to her studio, which is at 5140 River Road in Benzonia, Michigan. She's also on gwenfrostic.com. So if you're not heading up north this year, but you still are interested in her prints, you can go to her the webpage and you can order from there. She also has a Facebook presence. Um, yeah, so these are all ways that you can support her art and support Michigan. So there you go.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cool things about Gwen Frostic is that she is uniquely Michigan, and at the same time, these are still the message in her artwork. The fact that she was a naturalist, that's not just Michigan. That's everybody.
Mhm.
So, oh wait, Lori Worrell has just texted me. She said it's Silk Fox Tattoo in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. So, Anne, it sounds like we'll be taking a trip to Minnesota. So, start picking out your Gwen Frostic print now.
Yes.
Well done, Lori Worrell. Lori Worrell knows how to get shit done,
She
y'all.
does. She totally does. She totally
Lori
does.
Worrell, you're my hero.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna start singing that. There you go. Here's some amazing pictures of the home studio, and this is the part that I just never, like I said, the thing I just never wanted to leave. It's like, that was the cool thing about a rainy day, and I don't even know how long we would stay at Gwen Frostic's. I just know that I really liked sitting there, and it smelled weird, kind of that musty sort of, you know, rainy day smell that you sometimes get in a woodsy area. So the whole place smells like that in a good way. And everything is like you said, you can see it's all the natural wood and stone, and there's the fountain that's actually a natural spring. It's cool.
Mhm. It is very cool. Yeah, it's a great place, and you should go visit.
You should go. I encourage you to go this weekend while you're up there. This is a really great shot of just kind of what it looks like out front. And again, you can see that natural roof. And I think they had to completely redo it just recently, didn't they? 'Cause it was, that place is not young.
No, no, I mean it was completed in the '60s, so what it's 60 years old, so exactly. Yeah, so there's a lot that has to be maintained with it, and she passed away a number of years ago, and it's I don't want to say it's fallen on some hard times, but I don't think she left a very complete will. So there was so for a while it was still running and operating, but nobody was really taking care of it. So now they're trying to like catch up and make sure that it's being taken care of, because it's a valuable piece of property and it has valuable art in it. So that's another reason why you want to support it. It's because so this whole thing can be maintained.
Well, and I think it's an important piece of Michigan history. It's an important piece of the
Mhm.
legacy of the state, and especially the artists within the state.
Mhm.
Michigan doesn't have a ton of world famous artists here, so it's and especially she's such a great role model, female role model, that I think you absolutely have to preserve her legacy. In that house, that home, her shop is part of that legacy.
Mhm.
So this is a map that she drew of the area. This is actually her work showing you how to get to Gwen Frostic. So you can see you've got Crystal Lake. Here's Lake Michigan, Frankfurt, M22 right here, and then you have Gwen Frostic off of River Road. And I always love this map because it's like she drew that. This is so
Mhm.
cool.
And it's cool.
It is. It is indeed. So yeah, I don't know. I could kind of talk about this all day.
Mhm.
So this is one of the coolest things I think. And this was like you always felt lucky when you could go in there on a day that the printing presses were running
Mhm.
because it's mesmerizing.
Yeah, yeah. So all of these, it's the original Heidelberg Platen presses, and so these all came from Germany. like I said, everything, the drawings, the printing, the sale. I mean, there was years and years and years where you had to go. You couldn't find any of her work unless you went to her place. She did not sell her work outside in other people's establishments. You can find it in other places in Michigan now, but when she was alive, man, you had to come there and everything was done in house. And and it was loud. Those things would like, you have 3 or 4 of those machines running and it would be loud. It was kind of in this half basement area off one of the studio areas. It was impressive.
Yeah, it was really cool. So you could just sit there and, where you would be was kind of this overlook. It had a little railing there that you could
Mhm,
lean on and you could watch the presses do their thing and you could watch the people running around making the presses work. And,
mhm,
and these are tens of thousands of dollars worth of printing presses
mhm.
and just try to find somebody that can repair them now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the thing is that all of that repairs and stuff, anything that, anybody that worked there had to learn how to repair the printing presses because,
Yeah.
it's otherwise you had to have somebody from Germany had to come in and repair them.
Yes. So, yeah. But that's one of the coolest parts of going there is just seeing the operation.
Mhm.
It really was cool, really impressive.
And then, of
So,
course, on the shelves all around the walls of the printing press area were all of her blocks. So there would be thousands of blocks, that were all of her original drawings in these
yeah,
blocks.
lined up like library
Mhm.
books, like
Yes.
stands of library books of
Mhm.
all of these prints, then all of these carvings that she had made in these blocks.
So
Totally awesome.
it was.
So,
Here's, if you'd like to know more, The Life and Wisdom of Gwen Frostic by Cheryl James, which was published in 1999. We need an update. We need more information about Gwen Frostic. It's been that book's 25 years old now, and we need
mm,
more information. And then there's also a children's story about her, Nature's Friend, the Gwen Frostic story by Lindsay McDivitt. Which was published in 2018, so that's much more recent, and both really the children's story is super cute, and the other one is very interesting. She was not a very um, she did her art. She was a good businesswoman. She was friendly and polite to people, but she wasn't big on glad handing, or she wasn't a big self promoter. She really wasn't. She let her art speak for her. And I imagine in a time and place where being disabled, um, mo- if you were disabled, you were supposed to stay out of public view. So here's and I imagine it was hard. It was hard growing up with that. It was hard, people thinking that, oh, well, she can't get married. She's broken. She's defective. She's a woman. So she was remarkable, and I was not really big on giving interviews. That wasn't her thing. If you wanted to honor her, fine. Send her whatever you wanted, but she she let her art speak for her. That's what she did.
and if you had a problem with that, don't buy her art.
That's exactly it. If you wanted like a warm fuzzy, grandma type, she was not. She was a
Mm-mm.
artist and a businesswoman, and that's what she did.
She was very good at both.
Hmm.
So, there you go. Gwen Frostic, right on.
Gwen Frost.
So yeah, that's what we have. I would say that was good, dude. That we talked about that for 45 minutes. Look at us go.
I
Right
know,
on.
right? Exactly. So
All right.
if you're heading up north, either side of the state, because it's like, once you get up to the top of the mitten there, it's not very far from one side of the state to the other. So if you're going up north this summer, check out Gwen Frostic, check out her prints, and buy yourself some stationery, have a good time. And if you're not going, get on her website and order some. There you go. There's no reason not to. And what else was I going to? Oh, yeah. I'm sure Jenny and I will be stopping there next month.
Totally. I know I was that was one of the things that was on my radar for when we were going up to the Amy Tan show. On the way back down, I wanted to stop at Gwen Frostic and get some stationery because I don't have any right now. I have
Yeah,
other
I'm
stationery, but I don't have any. I'm
I'm
out.
almost I'm almost I'm almost out. So yeah, I've been
And
like hoarding it.
yeah, and I don't particularly like to order it online. I really just want to go there. I just,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I guess I got to go to Gwen Frostic's
Mhm.
because there you go, because
There
I'm
you
out.
go.
So, and I
Yes. So
still,
that's how
yeah,
I feel about
I know, but I never quite feel good about going unless it's raining. It's weird.
I know,
So
right? Yes.
weird.
So, yes,
So
so do yourself a favor, go visit Gwen Frostic's studio.
great. So well done, you guys. You did it. You've spent nearly an hour learning things about stuff. This time you learned about Gwen Frostic and Gwen Frostic prints. Thank you for spending it with us, the brothers, sisters. And remember, you guys, before we close it out today, we want to hear from you. Please answer our poll questions. Give us your questions, concerns, comments, confessions. Oh,
Mhm.
and we have to start doing that together. Together. Let's do it. Let's practice.
Okay.
Questions, concerns, comments, confession. Yeah, we
Confessions?
didn't do that. Let's try that again. Okay.
Okay.
Questions, concerns, comments,
Confession. I'm sorry.
confessions. Okay, that's better. We'll
We're gonna have to
practice.
work on
We'll
it.
get there. We'll get there, you guys. And remember, you guys, we are looking for your support. So please support the brothers sisters for free. Like
Mhm.
us, follow us, subscribe. And you guys, we're talking about subscribe to us, follow us on all of our platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Free, doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to pay for a Spotify account. You can have a free account and you can
Mhm.
hear us on a free account. But put the
Mhm.
word out to your friends and family. Tell them to like us, follow, and subscribe to us. And you might actually enjoy a show every now and then. For instance, if you get to see, okay, there's a perfect example. You're going to drive up north for Memorial Day this weekend. What perfect way to spend your time driving in the car, listening to the brothers sisters, learning about Gwen Frostic on the way to going to Gwen Frostic.
Mhm.
You're gonna sound so smart when you get there. When you get there, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, isn't she a graduate of both Eastern and Western? Isn't that interesting?" And then people are they're gonna wanna stand next to you because you know stuff.
Exactly, because you're smart about stuff.
You're smart about stuff, and people love smart people all the time. At least that's what I tell my students. They love it. People love to be corrected and told things.
Love it.
Love it
Wait
so
for
much.
you to do it.
Totally.
Uh,
It's true. All right, join us next week. You guys, we are gonna next week is an important week because we are gonna save you from giving your earned money to a life coach with our second annual Dear Brothers Sisters show. That's right. We're going to be asking for your questions, your concerns, the things that you want to know about, to help, make your life better.
mhm.
It's a free life coaching session from the Brothers Sisters. All
Yes.
you have to do is tell us what you would like us to coach you on, and we will use our
Mhm.
dozens of experiences to help answer your questions. Because remember, we're in our 50s. We know things.
Exactly. Dear brothers, sisters,
Dear
my
Brothers Sisters.
whatever is driving me nuts. What should
Correct.
I do? That sort of thing. We're the Dear Abby for the hip modern peoples.
That's right, and for those of you Gen Zers and millennials that don't know what that is, that's fine, you're not watching us anyway, it's cool.
Exactly. Maybe you hear
Uh,
us sometimes, but yeah, exactly.
exactly. So anyway, until then, I am Janice Brothers, and with me is my sister.
And brothers.
That's right, and, we're gonna start by taking out our music. That's right, you've joined us for the last hour, we are the Brother Sisters. We want you to get out there, do something smart,
Jenny's microphone
fun.
is we're having some problems with your microphone, Jenny. So do something
Again?
smart. Yes.
Okay,
Do something fun. Do something dumb. And tell us about it. Because
that's right,
we like that. It'll be fun. And we'll see you next week when
indeed.
you tell us your problems and we try to solve them for you.
Nice. All right, guys, we are out of here.